Okay, let's now deal with the client side of things. And let's close these tabs at the top. And we'll just start off in our user DTO, actually, on the API before we get to the client. Because we'll also pass back the gender of the user so that we can filter to the opposite gender initially anyway, based on what they have configured when they registered. So we'll have another required prop inside here. That's going to be a string, and we'll specify gender. And let's go to our account controller next so that we return this information when a user logs in as well. And okay, so we've got some errors, but because I've set that to required, that's fine. So in the register, we'll return the gender, and we'll set this equal to user.gender. And we'll also do the same in the login as well. So just below the token, I'll specify gender and say user.gender. Not that the ordering matters inside here, it does not matter at all when we're populating properties of an object. And let's go to our user.ts next in our client side, and we'll add the two properties in here because we've also got a property for known as well. So let's add that. So we'll say known as, which is a type of string, and we'll say gender, also a type of string. And we'll utilize the known as in the navbar now. Now that we've got it and we're returning it, instead of the username, we'll display the known as. So let's open up the nav component template. And where we've got the account service current user username, let's just swap that for known as. And we won't need the title case pipe for this one. And we can go to the nav component, as we can also remove the title case pipe from inside here, which means we can also remove the import there as well. So let's create a type inside here, and we'll go to our File and Folder Explorer view. And inside the models, let's create a new file for the user params, and we'll say userparams.ts. And this time we'll export a class because we want to create a new instance of this. And the class will make it easier for us to use, as we can give this some initial values for each of these properties, and then we can just say our params is just equal to a new user params, and it will be set with whatever the properties are that we set inside here. So we're going to have a property for the gender, which is a string. We'll have a min age, and we'll set this equal to 18. We'll have a max age, and we'll set this equal to, will be slightly different from the API, we'll set this to 99. We'll have a page number, that's equal to 1, and we'll have a page size, that's equal to 5. And then below this, we'll create a constructor for this class, and inside here, we'll pass in the user, which is going to be a type of user, or it could be null, and we'll say this.gender equals user.gender, that's equal to female, and we'll use a ternary, and if the user's gender is equal to female, we'll set the gender filter to be male, otherwise female. And they can always change it to whatever they prefer anyway, but that's what we'll go with as a starting point when they do log in. And let's next go to our members service. So let's open up the member service, and let's take a look at what we're doing inside here. So currently we're using the page number and page size for our get members, but we're going to use our user params instead. And we'll swap this, and we'll say user params, and say this is a type of user params. And we'll do something different with this because it'll be useful for us to have something more reusable if we're going to be using the same pagination system for not just our members, but other types of thing as well, such as our messages and such as our lists. So below our get members for the time being, let's create a method inside here, and we'll call it, well, we'll make it a private method for the time being because we're just going to use it in the one place. And we'll call it private set pagination headers, and we'll pass in the page number, which is a type of number, and we'll pass in the page size, which is also a type of number, and then we'll effectively take what we have here and cut this and paste it inside our new method, and we'll after the if statement, we'll return the params. And this is just to make it a bit cleaner, easier to use inside our method here, because this one can get busy. So we're going to say let params equals list.set pagination headers, and then we can pass in the user params dot page number and the user params dot page size. And then below this, we'll set the query parameters for our other filters as well. So we'll say params equals params and append, and we'll have one for min age, and we'll say user params dot min age. And then below this, we'll just copy this down twice. We'll also have one for max age and set this to user params dot max age, and we'll also have one for gender and say user params dot gender. And that will do for the service just for the time being. We'll need to do more work with this soon, so I'll just close the others down and let's head over to our member list component. And inside here we have an error because at the moment we're passing the get members, the page number and the page size. So let's create a property for our user params. We'll remove the page number and page size from here, and we're going to need access to our account service because our user params constructor takes a user as a property. So at the top here, I'm just going to say private account service equals inject and say account service, and then we'll say user params equals new user params, and then we can pass through the user, which we can get, of course, from our account service. So we'll say list.accountService.current user and pass that through to our user params. And then in our load members, we can say for our get members, we'll pass this dot user params. And then we just need to update our page changed as well. So we'll check the user params dot page number and do the same for this one as well, and say user params dot page number for the page changed event as well. And we'll just double check the template while we're here and make sure there's no errors inside here. There shouldn't be. From what we've done, that should be fine. And we'll just make sure nothing's broken yet. We still need to configure the user interface for our filters, but if I refresh the page, then we're getting our list of members. And in order to get the property back, because I'm still on the login that I had before, so I'll log out as Lisa. Let's just refresh the page and log back in as Lisa. Then we get an error. Token 2 million is not valid in the scope of module system module handler. And note, if you're seeing this error, then Angular is not to blame. Please don't go looking for whatever this is, because this sounds like a joke error, token 2 million. And the reason for this will be, of course, we've made some changes inside our API, and hot module reload or hot reload has not done its job. So we'll just do another .NET watch to see if the error persists after a restart. And my guess is that that error will not persist after a restart. So I'll go back to the home page. I'll just refresh the page again. And let's log in as Lisa with the password. And this time we get taken to the members page, and it's shown the male members based on the gender that Lisa is set to. So it provides the opposite and displays them on our page. Great, but we want to give the user the ability to select themselves, and we'll take a look at doing that next.